Here we are in the middle of winter, and I try to kind of do this one here between 5 and 6 in the evening, and notice that the moon is very low on the southern horizon, and we're looking at a crescent moon, waxing crescent. Okay, and then I'm gonna zoom forward by 24 hours approximately. Oops, there it is. Okay, that was a little bit too far. There we go. Oh well. Somewhere there. Okay, still kind of a little west of south. Still crescent the next day. Notice, of course, as I move forward in time here, of course, everything moves left to right because Earth is rotating the opposite direction, giving the impression that everything moves left to right, but of course that's not the case. Notice here the moon is a little bit higher. It's a couple of days later after the first one, approximately same time, still pretty crescent. And then this would be my fourth observation. About there. There, notice that now it's in the south, and it's getting a little fuller between crescent and first quarter or half moon. And yet another day later, pretty high already. I'm not even looking at the numbers here, but kind of in the neighborhood of like 30 degrees at this point. Okay, here it looks like half moon, first quarter moon. I think this is going to be my sixth observation coming up. Oops, about there. Okay, a little bit late, caught a little bit late, but there it is, half moon. Still, I'm going here one day to the next day, so the changes aren't that great. Still somewhat observable that it is changing. And about there, I notice that I'm back to approximately a time between 5 and 6, and notice it's quite a bit in the southeast now. Quite high too, still around 30 degrees, and we're going from half moon to waxing gibbous. Oh, that was a little bit too quick. There, approximately there. Okay. So still in the southeast, and at this point definitely turning gibbous. And I forgot if this is my 7th or 8th observation. And another day later, again about there we go, going really into the east here and getting quite high, above 30 degrees. And definitely gibbous. Ooh, that was a little bit too quick. About there, yeah. So that's already quite high in the east here. And there, it's getting almost full here. And yet 24 hours later, about there we go. Now it's in the east. And getting pretty close to full. Oh, I meant to zoom out first. kind of missed my cue here. There we go, around there somewhere. It's about 6 o'clock. So, there we go. Well, it's about 20 degrees above the eastern horizon. And of course you have to look at what the moon does, what the moon's motion does from one day to the next. So not what it does here within a day, but one day to the next. How is it moving and how is it changing its phases? So here we have a full moon, and it is somewhat on the eastern horizon, about 20 degrees up. And what I tried to do here is kind of have the same amount of the same time every evening, because that would mean that it's the same amount of time after sunset. In this case, what I chose, it's a little bit easier to find the moon in the evening sky than during daytime, even though that's definitely possible, just somewhat easier. And by choosing the same time, you can kind of see the progression of the moon, how it goes from one day to the next over this. I think I chose about 10 days here that I made these observations, how it moves and what happens to its phases. And I could go on, but I think this might be enough for evaluating or completing this lab.